in the little town of Mandrake Falls, population 600. On the porch of an old-fashioned frame house, two men are waiting for an answer to their knock. They're clearly out of their element here, clearly city folks. As the older man, a sharp-eyed attorney, taps his foot impatiently, the door is opened by a motherly old lady.
Good morning.
Good morning. Is Mr. Longfellow Deeds at home?
Why, no, he isn't, but I'm expecting him any minute. Won't you come in, please?
Thank you. My name is Cedar. I'm an attorney. This gentleman is Mr. Cobb.
How do you do, Mr. Cedar? How do you do, Mr. Cobb?
Hi.
Come right in here, gentlemen. Mr. Deeds is in the park arranging for the bazaar. They're trying to raise money for a fire engine. Sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you. Are you related to Mr. Deeds?
Oh, no. I'm Mrs. Meredith. I'm his housekeeper.
Oh, then perhaps you can tell us something about him. What does he do for a living?
Why, he and Jim Mason own the tower works. But that isn't where he makes his money. He makes most of it out of his poetry.
Poetry? He writes poetry?
My goodness, yes. Longfellow's famous. He writes those things on postcards, you know, for Christmas and Easter and birthdays.
Yeah. How long do you think you'll be?
Oh, he won't be long, 'cause 'tain't raining. When it rains, he likes to take long walks.
Likes to?
There he is now. I'll tell him you're here.
Hey, Cedar, did you hear that?
Yeah.
The old man must have been goofy to leave all his dough to this yokel.
Oh, well,
How much do you figure the estate will amount to after the taxes are deducted?
about 20 million.
Better be careful how you spring it on him. He's liable to keel over from the shop.
Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, good morning. Are you Longfellow Deeds? That's right. My name is John Cedar, of the New York firm of Cedar, and Buddington. My card.
Cedar, and Buddington. Buddington must feel like an awful stranger.
Not bad.
This is Mr. Cornelius Cobb, Mr. Deeds.
Hiya.
Very well, thanks.
Mr. Deeds, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
Excuse me, Mrs. Meredith,
Yes, Longfellow?
have you seen the mouthpiece for my tuba?
Why, it's right there on the table.
Oh, that's right. My new mouthpiece. I keep losing them all the time. Go ahead, Mr. Cedar. Don't pay any attention to me. I just want to see if this thing fits my new bass horn all right.
Mr. Deeds, we have some news for you.
Yeah. I suggest you sit down, though, Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds. Does the name of Martin W. Semple mean anything to you?
Not much. An uncle of mine, I think, although I never saw him.
Well, he passed on. He was killed in a motor accident in Italy.
He was? Well, now, that's too bad. If there's anything I can do...
Mr. Semple left a great fortune when he died. He left it to you, Mr. Deeds. Deducting taxes, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 million.
Well, for crying out loud.
What about lunch? Are the gentlemen going to stay?
Perhaps you didn't hear me, Mr. Deeds. I said the whole Semple fortune goes to you. 20 million.
Oh, I heard you all right. 20 million. That's quite a bit, isn't it?
Oh, it'll do in a pinch.
Yes, indeed. I wonder why he left all that money to me. I don't need it.
I give up.
I wish you'd tell me about lunch if the gentlemen are going to stay.
Sure, they'll stay. Mrs. Meredith's got some fresh orange layer cake.
Some more coffee, Mr. Cedar?
No, thanks. You see, Mr. Deeds, Cobb here is an ex-newspaper man. Been associated with your uncle for years as a sort of buffer.
Buffer?
Yeah, glorified doormat.
You see, rich men need someone to keep...
Cedar and Buddington. Cedar, and Buddington. It's funny, I can't think of a rhyme for Buddington.
Why should you?
Oh, whenever I run across a funny name, I always like to poke around for a rhyme. I've got one for Cobb.
Huh?
There once was a man named Cobb who kept Semple away from the mob. Came the turn of the tide, and Semple, he died. Now, poor Cobb is out of a job.
Sounds like 2 weeks' notice to me.
Huh?
I've gotten a sackaroo in many ways, but never in rhyme.
Oh, no. I didn't mean that. I'm sure I'm going to need your help.
Are you married, Mr. Deeds?
Who, me? No.
He's too fussy. That's what's the matter.